Picture this. It's 1992. A black woman in Detroit is folding laundry while the TV hums in the background. The kids are upstairs, dinner's simmering. She's been channel surfing, looking for something, anything that feels like her. BET's running a music video countdown. UPN's lineup doesn't start until later, and then she stumbles on Lifetime. Some dramatic movie's playing, low budget, suspenseful, and starring a woman running from her abusive ex. She doesn't change the channel. And that moment right there, that quiet decision in a living room no network executive would ever think to study, that was the beginning. Not a corporate merger, not a press release, not some DEI committee at Viacom. No, it was black women watching, showing up, sharing titles in beauty shops, making it appointment television without needing an invite. Lifetime didn't become the black channel because it wanted to. It became the black channel because everything else vanished. And nobody bothered to ask why. Before there was Tyler Perry with his own studio lot. Before their own network even existed, there was Lifetime. And while everyone else was ignoring black women or using them to build a network only to toss them aside, Lifetime was quietly becoming the last safe space on television that still answered when black women called. This is the story of how a network that was never built for black viewers became, accidentally, strategically, and profitably, the last black television safe zone in an era where black TV is shrinking, black shows are disappearing, and black networks keep getting bought, sanitized, diluted, and redirected. This is how Lifetime became the black channel, without ever saying it out loud. But here's what most people don't know. Lifetime didn't start out anywhere near black audiences, or even thinking about them. The Lifetime television network officially launched in 1984, the result of a merger between two smaller cable channels, Daytime, a women's news and talk channel, and Cable Health Network, focused on medical content. It was founded by Hearst Communications, ABC, now owned by Disney, and Viacom, which means from the beginning it was controlled by massive white-led media conglomerates. The channel was pitched as television for women, but its original focus was almost exclusively white, suburban, and middle class. It aired health documentaries, talk shows, fitness specials, and eventually melodramatic movies about battered wives, cheating husbands, and stalkers in the suburbs. Lifetime made its name off of what people used to call tearjerkers, films that dramatized the fears of white housewives across America. In other words, Lifetime was never created with black audiences in mind. It was a corporate project, designed to fill a gendered advertising gap in the emerging cable landscape. But as time went on and black networks got bought up, gutted, or ghosted, Lifetime found itself in a strange position. It wasn't trying to be inclusive, it just happened to still be airing stories, and black women, tired of being erased elsewhere, started watching. Back in the 1990s, every network needed us. Fox, WB, UPN, they all leaned on black audiences to survive. They weren't doing it out of love, they were desperate. New networks needed ratings, and black viewers showed up in force. That's why they greenlit shows like In Living Color. That's how Living Single happened. That's why In Living Color shook the world. These shows proved to be of great success, but the moment those networks got strong, they bailed. Fox got its foothold from Martin, Rock, and Living Single, then dropped black content like a bad habit. WB siphoned UPN's black lineup, then buried it under vampire shows. And UPN? It never even got a chance to grow. Once Viacom got involved, everything started tilting white again. It's a pattern we know too well. Use the culture, use the flavor, use the soul, then rinse it out once the check's clear. They called Friends a cultural phenomenon. They called Living Single a niche black sitcom, even though it came first. Kim Coles and Queen Latifah were told to be grateful. Jennifer Aniston was handed syndication riches and global branding deals. Same concept, same setup, same city. One got a billion-dollar franchise, the other got sidelined. But you know who noticed? Lifetime. At first it was subtle. A thriller here, a biopic there, maybe a domestic drama with a black lead, but it worked. Every time. Ratings soared whenever a black woman was on screen, especially when the story revolved around her, not just as a victim, but as a complex, resilient, layered character. And suddenly a pattern emerged. Lifetime movies were hitting harder with black audiences than the networks designed to serve them. Why? Because BET was bought. Because OWN had a filter. Because VH1 was leaning into chaos. And CW had gone full-blown fantasy. But Lifetime leaned in. They gave us stories about survival, betrayal, motherhood, violence, faith, and fear. And even when the budgets were low and the plots were recycled, they gave space. They gave Kierra Sheard the opportunity to play her own mother in The Clark Sisters, First Ladies of Gospel, one of the highest-rated original movies in Lifetime history. They gave author Eric Jerome Dickey, whose novels define black romance and urban drama, a seat at the table with greenlit adaptations that no other network touched. They gave us stories that felt like something your cousin whispered at the family reunion. They gave us black women centered, even in melodrama. They also gave chances that other networks were too afraid or too arrogant to offer. Angela Bassett made her directorial debut with Whitney, a Lifetime original film about Whitney Houston's life, at a time when few black women were trusted to direct anything. Queen Latifah, Alfre Woodard, and Felicia Rashad led the all-black remake of Steel Magnolias on Lifetime, proving that older black women still had star power in a youth-obsessed industry. Tracee Ellis Ross was still an unknown when she got a shot at early acting work through Lifetime, before Girlfriends made her a household name. And Michael B. Jordan appeared in Pastor Brown, a film that aired on Lifetime years before he would go on to dominate the box office in Creed and Black Panther, becoming a modern-day Denzel Washington. While other networks closed their doors, Lifetime kept letting black talent in, and kept giving them something that mattered: room to grow. See, this isn't about perfection. Lifetime didn't become the black channel out of cultural enlightenment. They didn't wave a flag. They didn't run a campaign. They watched the numbers. They followed the money. They saw what every other network pretended not to see. The black dollar is real. The black viewer is loyal. And black women watch TV with purpose. While everyone else fought to go viral, Lifetime sat quietly and dominated. BET was pumping out reruns and reality shows. OWN was still trying to figure out who its audience really was. CW had completely erased its black teen drama roots. It was really sad to see. But Lifetime filled the vacuum, movie by movie, actress by actress, story by story. So when people ask how a white-owned channel became the go-to network for black women, it's because everyone else left. And Lifetime stayed. It stayed when Girlfriends got no finale. It stayed when Half and Half vanished. It stayed when streaming platforms took years to add classic black sitcoms back into the catalog. Lifetime never had to say it out loud. Black women already knew. In the low-budget thrillers with gospel soundtracks. In the biopics no one else wanted to fund. In the messy love triangles, crooked pastors, and mama's boy plot twists that somehow felt just a little too real. Lifetime became the channel you didn't have to translate. The channel where the auntie doesn't die in the first 15 minutes. The channel where black women didn't have to shrink, code switch, or disappear. And in an era where TV keeps trying to move on without us, Lifetime stayed in the room. Scope News tells the truth. Here are the facts. This report reflects decades of documented industry trends, media acquisitions, network pivots, cast interviews, ratings data, and oral histories. Sources include black television writers, showrunners, media scholars, BET and UPN timeline archives, Nielsen ratings analysis, and first-hand commentary from the cast of Living Single. It also includes press releases and viewership data from Lifetime's Clark Sisters biopic, directorial details of Angela Bassett's Whitney, and casting records from Steel Magnolias and Pastor Brown. Announcements tied to the greenlighting of series based on Eric Jerome Dickey's novels were also included. This is a story built not just from numbers, but from cultural memory, repeated patterns, and the lived reality of black viewership. Legal disclaimer. This Scope News report is for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes. It is based on documented historical events, public interviews, media history, and the observed patterns of American television programming. Some perspectives are drawn from lived experience, commentary, and oral tradition within Black communities. While every effort has been made to ensure factual accuracy, viewers are encouraged to conduct their own research and reflect on the broader cultural dynamics presented.